Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
Find a way to contact her and make her work for us, Everett coldly ordered. Yes, I'll arrange it right away, Jerry immediately responded. What has Lawrence been up to lately? Everett's gaze darkened slightly. He's been unusually quiet, which is not his usual style. After Jerry reported Lawrence's recent activities to Everett, Everett frowned. He's actually in the mood to send birthday gifts. Yes, but it seems he hasn't received any response, Jerry added. Humph, he's still not giving up, Everett scoffed. Given the current situation, even if Nicole were to fall from grace, there's absolutely no way she would go back to him. Doesn't he understand that? Everett couldn't believe that Lawrence would still think about rekindling something with Nicole. There's another thing. Recently, it seems someone has been helping us from the shadows. I'm not sure who it is, but I suspect it might be one of Lawrence's people, Jerry cautiously said. Be careful. Even if it is his doing, the intentions won't be that simple, Everett mused. How could Lawrence possibly be so kind to help me? It is nothing but using me for his own ends. Got it, Jerry replied. Good. Everett signaled for Jerry to leave. After Jerry left, Everett snorted coldly, his eyes filled with dark intent. If I can't achieve my goal all at once, I'll break it down into smaller steps and tackle them one by one. At noon, under the bright sun, Nicole, Lulu, and Patricia went out for lunch. As they left, they bumped into Ella outside the Riddle Corporation. Nicole, are you guys going for lunch? Ella asked as he spotted them. Why are you here? Nicole was surprised to see Ella. I wanted to ask how the investigation was going, Ella said, subtly glancing at Patricia, who was handling the investigation. Nicole understood his intention and suggested, We're about to have lunch. Join us. Sure, Ella accepted, eager to accompany them. Let's go, Nicole said, leading them across the street. Since they had planned to eat lunch across the street anyway, encountering Ella meant he could join them. Upon arriving at the restaurant and settling at a table, they ordered their meals. Nicole, any results? Ella asked eagerly. We were just about to discuss that. Listen in, Nicole replied. She then turned to Patricia. Go ahead. Patricia began with a serious expression. Based on surveillance, those individuals are indeed connected to Jerry, and we've clarified their identities. They can be confirmed as part of the group that returned with Everett. Those are people from the Eastern Falcon, likely now under Everett's command. That means Everett's forces are quite strong, Ella said, his complexion turning slightly pale, realizing that dealing with Everett would be even harder in the future. Nicole's gaze deepened as she added, This matches what Max found earlier. We've handed this matter over to Zane to handle. Our focus remains on Everett. But with the Eastern Falcon on his side, taking him down won't be easy, Ella said, a frown creasing his brow as he voiced his concerns. That's only a fraction of their force. Most of their ranks haven't sided with Everett yet. We believe Everett has the Eastern Falcon's leader under his thumb, so Zane is on a mission to locate and free them, Nicole detailed. Oh, Ella thought aloud. If that's the case, we might not be in such a tight spot after all. He then turned to Patricia, adding, Still, you need to tread carefully in your endeavors. Don't worry, I'm handling it, Patricia replied, her voice laced with an icy undertone. Ella was visibly taken aback, ending the conversation with a heavy silence. Hey, Ella, I caught wind you've got a cousin crashing at your place. What's up with that? Lulu inquired, her curiosity undiminished by Nicole's briefing. The sudden mention of a cousin previously unknown piqued her interest. It's a bit of a saga, Ella exhaled. Do tell, Lulu pressed, her interest hitting its peak. Reluctantly, Ella shared. My mom claims she's some distant kin, not even directly related. How does that even make her a relative? His expression conveyed his turmoil. She's in town job hunting and might stick around San Joto to advance her career. I get it, Lulu nodded, understanding the situation. So, she's bunking with you for the time being. Exactly, Ella grimaced. And by the looks of it, my mom's not keen on her leaving anytime soon. It's gotten so bad, I've started avoiding home. Ended up camping out in my office last night. Your mom's cool with you not coming home? Lulu frowned, implying that Emma might be orchestrating a scenario for Ella and Doretta to get closer. I just play it off that work's been a bear, keeping me late, too late to head home. Ella let out a weary sigh. Feels like I've been demoted from being their son, and Doretta is taking the spot. Ha ha ha, watch out, or that might just become the reality, Lulu couldn't resist teasing. Stop, you're pushing me to the edge here, Ella protested, running his hands through his hair in vexation. Now, it's like my mom picks apart everything I do but sees Doretta through rose-colored glasses. You know, you could sway Emma to see you in a better light, Lulu suggested, her eyes gleaming mischievously. Ella gave Lulu a look of annoyance. Don't even start with me agreeing to anything. Just imagine, bringing a girlfriend home could be the endgame, Lulu retorted, a bit exasperated. The real snag was Ella's lack of a girlfriend. With one, Emma's attention wouldn't be so fixated on Doretta. Thanks, but no thanks. Ella dismissed the idea with a vigorous shake of his head. I'd rather stay single than play that game. For Ella, no one else came close to Patricia. To settle for anyone else wouldn't just be tough on him. It'd be unfair to the other person involved. There you go dash. Before Lulu could finish the sentence, Patricia cut in. Food's here, let's eat. As Lulu began to dig in, she paused, sneaking a peek at Patricia and couldn't suppress a sly snicker. Was Patricia changing the subject for Ella's sake? Or was she feeling a bit awkward herself? Nicole, catching the silent communication, had to stifle her laughter at the palpable tension. Ella, it's high time you sorted this out. Letting it drag on will only make things worse, and Emma's bound to get the wrong idea. Avoiding the issue won't cut it, Nicole counseled. How am I even supposed to address this mess? Ella thought, exasperated. And what's going through my mom's head? Doretta doesn't seem into me that way either. We hardly even make eye contact. How did my mom jump to the conclusion we could be a thing? Ella pondered. Don't people usually meet and chat first, even for a blind date? But my mom's acting like she's arranging a marriage straight off. Just tell her straight. You've got someone in mind. That's the truth, right? Lulu nudged Ella, urging him to confess. Right as Lulu's words hung in the air, Patricia was seized by a sudden coughing fit. Easy there, drink some water. Ella quickly handed her a glass, concern etched on his face. Patricia's coughing subsided after a moment, and she took a few sips of water, murmuring, Thanks. As long as you're all right, Elyar commented, pained to see Patricia flush from the coughing spell. Let's focus on the meal, Lulu, Patricia interjected before Lulu could delve deeper, steering her away from further probing. All right, let's eat, Lulu agreed, holding back her questions. She recognized that some issues needed to be navigated delicately. The evolving dynamic between Ella and Patricia was something they had to untangle on their own. Post-lunch, Ella excused himself, and Nicole, alongside Patricia and Lulu, made their way back to Riddle Corporation. Nicole, any idea what Everett's next move might be? Lulu inquired, concern creasing her forehead. Nicole responded with a heavy tone. My concern's actually more with Ella right now. You think Everett's targeting him because of his involvement? Lulu probed cautiously. It's not just that. Everett's too familiar with our circle. For him, going after Ella could disrupt us significantly, Nicole speculated, contemplating Everett's potential motives. Targeting Ella could simultaneously weaken their side and force Nicole to split her focus. Everett likely anticipated this, making Ella a continued subject of his machinations. What's our play then? Is Ella at risk? Lulu's worry was palpable. We need to ensure someone's keeping a close eye on Ella, for his safety, Nicole concluded with a firm resolve. Patricia hesitated before speaking in a low voice. Ms. Riddle, please don't worry. The agents I deployed to Bay Corp remain on guard, closely monitoring Ella's safety. Her implication was clear. No harm would come to Ella under their watch. Nicole raised an eyebrow in mild surprise, while Lulu couldn't hide her admiration. Wow, you're really keeping tabs on him. It seemed Patricia's concern ran deeper than mere professional duty. Blushing, Patricia tried to deflect. It's strictly a professional precaution. Despite her absence from Bay Corp, the situation there remained volatile, justifying her decision not to recall her team. Lulu, however, wasn't buying it, leaning in to whisper, "Come on, admit it. Does the whole Doretta thing make you jealous?" Patricia's silence was telling, prompting Lulu to press further. "It bothers you, doesn't it?" With a hurried excuse, Patricia made her escape, her pace quickening as she left. Lulu looked on, her expression a mix of frustration and concern, leaving us hanging with nothing but her pride. Nicole offered a light-hearted reprimand. "Let's not push them too hard." Lulu's reply was tinged with resignation. "They're the ones complicating things, driving us up the wall." "Patricia has her reasons," Nicole said, recognizing the deeper layers of Patricia's actions. Patricia's commitment to her mission, despite the freedom to step back, hinted at unresolved personal conflicts. Nicole sensed that given time, Patricia might reconcile her duty with her feelings. Lulu, reflective yet disappointed, conceded, "I get it. It's just sad to see chances slip away. But in the end, we all have our paths to choose." "All right, get to work." Nicole gently patted Lulu's shoulder. "Okay." Nodding, Lulu headed to her own office. After returning to her office, Nicole sat down at her desk. She flipped through the documents on her desk, her brow slightly furrowing. Concerned about Ella's situation, she felt somewhat relieved that Patricia had arranged for someone to follow Ella, ensuring his personal safety. Meanwhile, Ella was making his way toward Bay Corp. He had deliberately chosen the lunch hour for his visit, hoping to discuss some investigative matters, and also hoping to catch a glimpse of Patricia. Since the last incident with Patricia, when she came for the surveillance footage and encountered Emma and Doretta, he was aware that Patricia might misunderstand the situation. Patricia, being highly intelligent, would easily see through the intentions behind Emma bringing Doretta along. After all, if he could understand the situation, Patricia surely would too. But some things, once they had happened, were beyond one's control. What he could do now was try to prevent the situation from worsening. Recalling Lulu's words, Ella frowned as he thought, "If I were to say I had someone I liked, Mom might respect my wishes. However, she would also want to meet the person. Whom would I bring home then? Bringing a fake girlfriend could complicate things in the future, yet I don't have a real one either. Asterisk." Sigh. Ella exhaled in resignation. "Mr. Riddle, are you still worried about the phosphate rock powder incident?" His assistant asked quietly. Although the incident had passed, the perpetrators had not been found, leaving open the possibility of their return and potential harm to Bay Corp. Ella looked up at his assistant and asked, "Do you think if I asked Patricia to come home with me, she would agree?" "What?" The assistant was momentarily confused, not quite catching the meaning. "Never mind," Ella said, seeing the puzzled look on his assistant's face, and then snapped back to reality. Cautiously, the assistant asked Mr. Riddle, "Is something wrong?" "Just drive," Ella responded without elaborating further, turning his gaze to the window outside. Sensing Ella's mood wasn't the best, the assistant focused on driving. Ella watched the streetscape flash by. Patricia's image unwittingly crossed his mind, leaving him feeling somewhat bitter and frustrated. As dusk approached, Nicole, looking at Lulu and Patricia, asked, "Where are you headed?" "Spencer is coming to pick me up. He's made dinner reservations," Lulu said with a sweet smile. "I'm going to Dr. Wyant's place," Patricia replied. Nicole raised her eyebrows slightly. "Is something the matter?" "Dr. Wyant's called me over, but he didn't specify what for," Patricia said, also clearly puzzled. "Go ahead," Nicole nodded, signaling her to proceed, then walked toward Jared's car. Once in the car, Jared softly asked, "What's going on?" "Martin wants Patricia to see him, not sure why," Nicole expressed her concern, finding it odd that Martin would request Patricia's presence. Jared, holding Nicole's hand gently, reassured, "Patricia can handle it." Nicole agreed, deciding to ask Patricia about it tomorrow. After dinner at home, Nicole received a call from Patricia. "Ms. Riddle, Dr. Wyant's gave me some application medicine, saying that although my face has recovered, it would be better to continue using it for a while longer." Hearing Patricia's words, Nicole responded cheerfully, "I see, then you should use it for a while longer." It seemed the visit was for this reason. Martin had been thoughtful. "Ms. Riddle." Patricia hesitated, then said, "But something doesn't feel right." Nicole's brow furrowed slightly. "What do you mean?" "The medicine Dr. Wyant's gave me looks like it could last a very long time. It seemed excessive for just a follow-up treatment. She could always go back for more if needed." Nicole, sensing Patricia's implication, couldn't help but ask, "Did you notice anything else?" Given Patricia's suspicions, there had to be more than just this one concern. "When I was there, Dr. Wyant's was instructing his assistant about some matters, and from his tone, it seemed like he was planning to leave for a long time," Patricia explained. "Leave?" Confusion flickered through Nicole's eyes. "Martin is planning to leave San Giotto." "I'm not sure of the details, just found it strange," Patricia added. "All right, I understand," Nicole said before hanging up. Jared entered the room and, seeing Nicole in deep thought, asked, "What's up?" After sharing Patricia's findings with Jared, Nicole said, "I wonder if Martin has encountered some trouble. Perhaps he has work to attend to," Jared suggested, gently stroking Nicole's hair. But Patricia felt like he was planning to leave for a long time. "What kind of work requires such a long absence?" Jared's gaze deepened, and he gently held Nicole's hand, reassuring, "Even if there is something, he can handle it himself." "I'm just puzzled," Nicole sighed. "If he really encountered any trouble, he could have told us. As friends, we wouldn't just stand by and do nothing." "Maybe he feels it's not necessary for us to intervene," Jared said, smoothing Nicole's hair. "Go take a shower and get ready to rest." "Okay." Nicole agreed and headed to the bathroom. She couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. Martin, who lived for his medical research, embroiled in trouble? It didn't add up. As dawn broke, Nicole's unease hadn't faded. It spurred her into action. She decided to check on Martin at his lab. Upon her arrival, she spotted Martin, engrossed in his work. "Hey, Martin," she called out. Martin looked up, surprised. "Nicole, what are you doing here?" "Just checking in on you," she said, offering a reassuring smile as she moved closer. "What's all this?" She gestured toward his work. "Just tying up some loose ends," Martin replied, then paused, realizing the reason behind her visit. "Patricia told you, didn't she?" His initial surprise at her presence faded, replaced by an understanding of her concern. "I heard a little and thought I'd better see for myself," Nicole admitted, confirming the rumors that had reached her and Patricia. "So, Martin is really planning a departure." But the lingering questions in her mind were, where to, what for, and what had prompted such a sudden decision. "Why don't we sit down at the cafe downstairs?" Martin suggested, his look betraying a hint of unease. "Let's go," Nicole agreed with a casual shrug, following him to the cafe, where they settled in with their coffees. The aroma of coffee lingered in the air as Martin's voice slowly filled the space. "Actually, I'm planning to go find Cindy," he said frankly, though his demeanor showed a bit of unease. Nicole's eyebrows rose slightly in surprise. "Cindy? You?" "Yes." Martin nodded, speaking softly. "It's only in her absence that I've realized I can't live without her." Without Cindy, Martin's life had turned unbearably dull and monotonous. His days were confined to the laboratory, with no one to share his thoughts with, no one to break the silence of his solitude. This solitude, once a sanctuary, had morphed into a suffocating cell. He recognized that Cindy's presence had injected vibrancy into his life, turning the monochrome to technicolor. Her departure had reverted everything back to a bleak grayscale. The void of her absence made every idle moment a gateway to memories of their shared times, each memory a sharp, vivid sting. The haunting image of Cindy's desolate departure was a constant ache, a relentless reminder of what he'd lost. This profound realization propelled him toward a decision. He had to find her. Noticing Martin's newfound clarity and acceptance of his feelings for Cindy, Nicole smiled. "Then I wish you all the best." If Martin could reconcile with Cindy and rekindle their affection, it would indeed be a cause for celebration. "I'll do my best." Martin raised his coffee cup in a silent toast to Nicole. Nicole took a sip of her coffee, then asked, "Have you tried contacting Cindy?" "No, I can't reach her." That was why he had resolved to seek her out personally. Nicole furrowed her brows slightly, puzzled. "How come you can't get in touch?" "I'm not sure." A trace of worry flickered in Martin's eyes. It seemed unlikely for Cindy to cut off all contact, which deepened his concern. "If you run into any trouble while you're there, remember to contact me. I'll find someone to help you." Nicole expressed her concern. "Don't worry, I'm just going to find someone. Nothing will happen," Martin tried to reassure Nicole. Despite his own apprehensions, he was aware of Nicole's recent burdens and didn't want to add to them with his issues. "You and Cindy are both my friends," Nicole said, offering Martin a warm smile. After a brief pause, Martin nodded. "If I really need to, I will." "All right then," Nicole replied, her smile unwavering. Back at Riddle Corporation, Lulu, who was waiting for Nicole, asked as soon as she saw her, "How did it go?" "It's okay, he's going to find Cindy," Nicole shared. "Oh." Lulu's face lit up with relief. He finally came to his senses. "It seems to be about realizing what's lost and learning to cherish it," Nicole mused aloud. "I just hope Cindy is open to giving him another chance," Lulu sighed, hopeful for Martin's journey. "It's really up to how he approaches it now," Nicole remarked, smiling at Lulu. "Now, back to work. Unless there's something else." "Oh, there is." Lulu's tone turned serious. She handed a document to Nicole, explaining, "This looks odd." "Odd?" Nicole took the document, intrigued. "It's a letter of intent for cooperation, but I've never heard of this company. I'm concerned it might be a scam." Lulu frowned. "Especially with Everett lurking around, we have to be extra cautious." "Okay, I understand," Nicole said, taking the document with her. "I'll get back to work then," Lulu replied, turning to head to her office. Back in her office, Nicole opened the document and frowned slightly after a brief look. The project seemed promising, clearly a worthwhile investment opportunity. However, something about the content felt eerily familiar. "I've never heard of the company, but why does the project's design seem so familiar?" After a moment's hesitation, Nicole took the document to Sean's office. "What's up?" Sean looked surprised to see her. It was rare for her to visit him during work hours. "Sean, take a look at this." Nicole handed him the document. "Lulu found it, and I think there's something off about it." Sean's expression turned serious as he began to read through the document, his brow furrowing more deeply as he continued. Nicole's gaze sharpened slightly. "Did you find something?" This was a project initiated by Uncle Damien a long time ago, but it was shelved because the investor was never disclosed. Sean's voice carried a trace of darkness. Uncle Damien? Nicole's brows knitted together. So, it's Everett again. With the project being so old and Damien locked up in prison, Everett was likely the only one who could resurrect it. Possibly, Sean said, puzzled. But what's his purpose in doing this? After all, it was just a letter of intent. Whether they would agree to a contract was still uncertain. Even if they were interested in the project and agreed to sign, the terms of the contract would be crucial. They couldn't just sign anything haphazardly. I'll have someone look into it, Nicole said, her voice cold. If it really was Everett, his motives were probably not so straightforward. All right, Sean agreed. Then he advised, but for now, let's arrange for someone to contact them and keep them engaged without alarming them. Got it. Sean glanced at Nicole and asked, I heard there was almost an incident with Bay Corp. How is it now? It's resolved, but we still need to be cautious in the future, Nicole sighed, feeling somewhat helpless. Everett's return seems to be aimed at giving none of us any peace. It doesn't matter. If something really happens, no one will stand by idly. We're all in this together after all, Sean reassured her, highlighting the solidarity among them. Nicole felt a surge of gratitude. Thank you, Sean. You're my sister. There's no need for thanks, Sean replied, his smile comforting. I'll get back to work then, Nicole said, standing up to leave with the document, heading back to her office. Soon after, Patricia entered. Ms. Riddle, you called for me? I need you to have Zane's team look into this, Nicole said, handing over the document. It might be connected to Everett. Tell them to be cautious. Got it, Patricia confirmed, taking the document before leaving. After departing from Riddle Corporation, Patricia reached out to Zane's team to convey the situation. Then, she made her way to Bay Corp. Near the premises, she spotted a familiar figure that made her frown. That has to be Doretta, Ella's cousin, right? Supposedly, she is without friends here. So, why is she accompanied by a man? Curiosity piqued. Patricia parked her car to the side and observed Doretta and the man more closely. At first, Doretta appeared irritated, trying to dismiss the man. But after he whispered something to her, she paused, torn. Satisfied with his persuasive effort, the man handed Doretta a business card before departing. Doretta stood there in a daze. As Patricia watched the scene, her gaze sharpened slightly. After a moment's thought, Patricia started the car and followed the man. At a corner, the man removed his hat, glanced around with a smug look, then climbed into a car parked by the roadside and drove off. Patricia snapped photos of both the man and his car, sending them straight to Charlie with instructions to dig deeper. Later, Patricia made her way to Ella's office. What brings you here? Ella's surprise at seeing her was tinged with a note of happiness. Nicole asked me to keep an eye on things here, Patricia said, pausing before asking. Everything all right on your end? Absolutely, everything's running smoothly, Ella assured her. Patricia's brows knit together slightly. No unusual incidents or unexpected visitors. Having just seen Doretta downstairs, she couldn't help but speculate. Doretta's visit, was it to see Ella? And that man she was dealing with seemed off. Could there be more to Doretta than meets the eye? Ella, taken aback, responded. As far as I'm aware, all is normal. Did you notice something? He pondered. Patricia seems unusually on guard. What's she picked up on that I've missed? Seeing Ella's confusion, Patricia could only sigh, dismissing it with, "It's nothing." Realizing he was oblivious, Patricia decided not to press further. Without concrete proof, sharing her suspicions seemed pointless. She resolved to unravel the mystery herself, silently noting he might not take her word for it anyway. "Don't worry, I've got someone watching over the company. I won't let anyone get the upper hand," Ella tried to reassure her, a smile playing on his lips. His statement was an attempt to show he had grown, no longer in constant need of her protection. But seeing him somewhat like a child seeking approval irked Patricia. He's already a target, yet he boasts of security. With a slight frown barely visible, Patricia responded, "All right, I should head back now." As Patricia turned to leave, Ella reached out instinctively. "Wait, something else." Patricia turned back, her expression one of confusion. Ella, meeting Patricia's gaze, quickly released her hand, his suggestion coming out somewhat awkwardly. "It's nearly lunchtime. Why not stay and eat together?" "No, thanks." Patricia barely started her refusal when a knock interrupted them. "Come in," Ella called out with a frown. The door swung open, revealing Doretta to their surprise. "Why are you here?" Ella was visibly taken aback. Doretta, clearly not expecting Patricia's presence, hesitated at the threshold, torn between entering and leaving. With clenched teeth, she managed, "Have I interrupted something, Ella?" "Just speak your mind," Ella's voice took on a cooler tone. Doretta glanced at Patricia, her hesitation evident. Patricia's expression darkened slightly. "I'll leave you to discuss." With that, she walked away. "Wait." Ella watched helplessly as Patricia exited. "Did I cause trouble?" Doretta, noticing Ella's displeasure, tread carefully. Ella reverted to his detached demeanor. "What is it?" "I'm busy," Doretta ventured. "I cleared the interview, but they're asking for a local reference since I'm not from here. Can you vouch for me?" "Vouch for you?" Ella's brows furrowed as he asked. "Which company?" He hadn't heard of companies requiring a local reference to vouch for a job candidate for employment. "It's just a couple of blocks away, at a place called Dash." Doretta couldn't finish the sentence before Ella cut in with a hint of suspicion. "A couple of blocks away? Are you sure it's not some front company?" That area wasn't known for hosting significant, reputable businesses. With Doretta's skills, she shouldn't need to look into lesser-known entities. Doretta faltered. "I'm not sure, but I don't think it is." Ella exhaled deeply. "Go home for now. I'll look into this." While Ella preferred keeping his distance from Doretta, given her arrival in San Giotto and his mother's assurance of support, he felt obligated to ensure her safety. He wouldn't stand by if she was potentially being scammed, especially since she was family. Doretta seemed to hesitate, wanting to say more, but ultimately nodded. "All right, then. Do you need a lift home?" Ella offered. "There's no need, I can make my way. I won't take up more of your time," Doretta declined before she exited. With the office to himself again, Ella let out a frustrated sigh. His intention of having lunch with Patricia was thwarted by Doretta's untimely appearance. Patricia, unbeknownst to Ella, hadn't left the vicinity and overheard the exchange between Ella and Doretta. It was only after Doretta departed that she decided to leave. Patricia's curiosity about Doretta's intentions and the mentioned company grew, prompting her to take matters into her own hands and investigate further. Patricia made it back to Riddle Corporation just in time for lunch. Lulu had ordered food and invited her to join them in Nicole's office. "Ms. Riddle, I ran into Doretta over at Bay Corp," Patricia began, detailing her encounter to Nicole. Nicole's brow furrowed slightly. "Were you able to find out who she was meeting with?" "Charlie got back to me. It's confirmed she was in touch with someone from the Eastern Falcon." "Through Jerry," Patricia said, her voice cold. This meant Doretta had ties to the Eastern Falcon, casting her visit to Ella's house in a suspicious light. Lulu went pale. "So, Doretta is involved with the Eastern Falcon." This revelation would make explaining things to Dexter and Emma tricky, especially with Doretta being a distant cousin of Ella. But Patricia shook her head. "We can't say for sure she's with the Eastern Falcon. The reason Jerry had someone reach out to her is still a mystery. All we know for sure is her target was Bay Corp, which makes letting Doretta stay with Uncle Dexter and his family quite risky." Nicole's expression grew serious. What should we do? Lulu asked, concern in her voice. Patricia replied. Doretta mentioned she was applying to a company that needed a referral to vouch for her. I looked into it, and that company doesn't exist anymore. She's definitely hiding something. What's our next step? Lulu looked at Nicole, clearly anxious. Do we go straight to Dexter and Emma? Keeping someone like Doretta around was a big risk. Nicole shook her head, deep in thought. We can't just rush this. Doing anything hastily might just alert her. What should we do then? Lulu asked, filled with concern. Let's keep an eye on Doretta for now, to see exactly who she is and what she intends to do, Nicole decided. Given that Doretta had already moved into Ella's house, it seemed likely her target was Ella. Now that they suspected Doretta's identity was problematic, surveillance could be more focused, potentially revealing her true intentions. Directly informing Dexter and Emma wasn't ideal without concrete evidence. Furthermore, even if they believed the suspicions about Doretta, she might simply find another way to achieve her mission if her initial plan was thwarted. That could lead to even greater danger outside their control. All right then. Understanding Nicole's reasoning, Lulu reluctantly agreed. Ms. Riddle, let me handle this matter, Patricia offered, her gaze turning serious. Okay, Nicole agreed. Since Patricia had encountered Doretta and had been investigating, she was indeed the most suitable to handle the job. If you find something, don't take any risks. We should discuss any findings as a group, Lulu cautioned Patricia. Patricia nodded solemnly. Understood. Nicole slightly smiled. All right, let's not worry too much for now. Let's eat. With nods of agreement, Lulu and Patricia began their meal. This was just the beginning of their investigation, and they believed thorough covert research would eventually bring clarity to the situation. After lunch, Patricia left Riddle Corporation again. Nicole, should we tell Ella about this now, so he can be on guard? Lulu suggested. Even if they didn't inform Dexter and Emma, Ella should be made aware. Let's leave it to Patricia. She'll know when and how to inform Ella, Nicole replied softly. Then we'll just wait for news, Lulu sighed. What exactly is Everett planning? A cold glint passed through Nicole's eyes. We'll know soon enough. With Everett having Doretta on his side, Nicole trusted that Patricia would soon uncover the truth, and everything would come to light. Lulu sighed deeply. Don't look so dejected. Things aren't as bad as they seem. At least we're aware of the situation before anything has happened, Nicole said, offering a reassuring smile. I just think Everett has gone too far. He should be apprehended sooner rather than later, Lulu said, through gritted teeth. All right, get back to work, Nicole comforted her with a pat on the shoulder. Lulu nodded. Okay, I'll get back to it. And you, don't overwork yourself. Got it, Nicole replied, returning to her desk to sit down. Picking up a document, Nicole glanced over it, but her mind wandered back to Everett. His primary target had always been Ella. She wondered if she had missed some clue. Does Ella possess some evidence detrimental to Everett? She thought. Perhaps this time, we might obtain crucial leads or even concrete evidence from Ella that could fully expose Everett. Nicole's expression darkened with these thoughts, emanating an intimidating chill. If that's the case, I will not let Everett find an escape, she vowed internally. Everett Riddle, after all this time, it's indeed time to settle accounts. Everything you owe will have to be repaid.
If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.